The oldest philosophy in the world is still current today, like the wisdom of Confucius, the greatest Chinese thinker who lived some 500 years before Christ. His statement, "Knowing what you know and knowing what you don't know, that is knowledge," fully applies to Dutch A&A Holding and its brand DialocID. Confucius says that it's not just about the things that we know, but also about the things we are unfamiliar with. Those who can distinguish between things that people do and do not know arrive at knowledge. But this is only possible if you are optimally able to identify facts and objects. And that's the business of Dutch A&A Holding and its partners. In the field of identification technology, the company has grown to be a global leader in information knowledge technology with a single vision: a safer and better world. For more than 50 years, contactless identification technology has been our business, and it has developed into a global industry. Our inventions and patents have formed the basis of an identification technology that is being applied today by hundreds of companies and semiconductor manufacturers worldwide. At least 60% of the world's population use our technologies, directly or indirectly. So, many developments have followed the first patent from the 1960s. First with patents on identification tags and detachers for the apparel industry. Later with a selection of other patents in the field of intelligent identification. The two Dutch founders of Dutch A&A as a partner of ID Engineering grew the company from the USA into an organization with offices and subsidiaries in the Netherlands, Germany, England, France, Italy, Ireland, and Sweden, with production sites in the Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland, the USA, Canada, and the United Kingdom. They worked and continue to work with global leaders in modern technology, such as Electromarin, now Swatch, Philips, Texas Instruments, and Hughes, now HID. In 1991, Dutch A&A sold all of its subsidiaries and did two things with the proceeds. They developed knowledge technology in the field of identification and acquired a stake in companies that produce these applications. Since that time, Dutch A&A Holding has, with its partners, invested tens of millions of dollars in new developments and worldwide patent registrations. It is one of the innovative leading companies in the world that is not only able to develop RFID products, but to apply them in a wide range of sectors as well. The principle of the information carriers is based on RFID, which stands for Radio Frequency Identification. This is a technology for remotely transmitting and receiving information by detection systems and reading data from so-called RFID tags, which are applied on or in objects or living creatures. Those RFID tags in a card format ranges from a chip card for public transport, a patron card for the library, and a bank payment card for the POS terminals. Today, the RFID-based NFC, near-field communication technology, is a widely used example in smartphones. Until recently, the antennas of these identifiers were usually made in environmentally unfriendly production processes. However, Dutch A&A developed a method of printing identifiers in graphene, a degradable carbon compound that occurs frequently in nature. Dutch A&A and partners have modified this substance so that ID antennas, prints and labels can be made from it. Billions of these UHF RFID labels will be produced in the coming years. Dutch A&A has also developed a hybrid EM RFID technology. The worldwide interest in this product is very high because the EM part cannot be shielded by metal. The identification is completely contactless. It is the first hybrid label for identification on the basis of EM, electromagnetic, low frequency, and for ultra-high frequency, UHF. In Dutch A&A's view, it's not just about the smartest chip, but rather about its future and application possibilities. Thanks to these RFID chips, the user can not only identify objects and people, but connect intelligence to them as well. Think of the distance to the object and to sense temperature, humidity, and other properties of the object. This, in combination with face and image recognition, leads to optimal recognition of persons and objects, which can be linked to all kinds of data. A few examples. By equipping books with tags, the librarian knows not only where to find them, but also who has borrowed them and when. And it's going a step further. For the development of the unmanned library, combination with face recognition can provide an important addition to identification. These identification systems are being applied all over the world. In the major libraries of America, National Library Washington, Egypt, Alexandria, Sao Paulo, Brazil, National Library of Mexico, and Latin America. A while ago, Dutch A&A started employing identification systems in retail shops to combat shoplifting. Today, the company is taking further steps with an ID technology that not only recognizes the product, but the customer as well. Thanks to face recognition, serving the customer is becoming very personal, because his or her gender, age and mood is recognized in the background to create the right information on the screens in the store. It's a modern way of individual marketing that really puts the customer at the center of the process. Dutch A&A has developed a waterproof system for distributing medicines and appliances to hospitals. Thanks to these groundbreaking RFID innovations, in combination with face and medicine recognition, the chance of human and possibly even fatal errors has been significantly reduced. According to the same principles, these applications are also very rational in the distribution and logistics of all kinds of products in warehouses. This is due to a combination of a so-called locator that identifies a product or person or object over an area of approximately 100 square meters. The locator also determines the location and position of objects as a kind of mini GPS, but based on a low-cost and battery-free RFID transponder. In addition to the stationary locator, a movable locator on a rail, usually in combination with a video camera, is being developed. This makes it easy to search and register objects in large areas, something that was not possible until recently. This innovation will be applied widely in the logistics sector, as well as in large stores and libraries. Because this is an open-source application, this method of warehouse and/or logistics management will take off in the near future. The combination of RFID badge and face recognition linked to the skills of the construction workers and the labeling of tools and materials creates a definite identification. This applies to the tools and materials that a construction worker may or may not use on a construction site. For example, a construction worker collects a power tool in the warehouse and performs an action that is not part of his job. Automatically driven by the RFID and gender video, the site engineer receives a notification. Because today, there are many self-employed subcontractors on a construction site, the registration of persons and working hours is no problem at all. The same system is also very suitable for use in other sectors, including garage companies and factories. Identification is quietly becoming an ever-increasing factor in preventive healthcare. An example of this is the prevention of unwanted additives in food. In the Netherlands, milk samples are taken at the farm and equipped with RFID for all milk transports to the processor. These samples are sent to the Milk Monitoring Institute daily so that germs are detected before they're sent to processing. Already mentioned medicine and device management. A locator in combination with an RFID tag guarantees maximum safety for the patient. No more mistakes with medication, and always the correct administration of, for example, the right chemotherapy. The tags can be used in medicine dispensers, such as those at Fresenius Kabi. But there is more. Logistics management is even reversible at the distribution centers, like the compounding machine movie, which shows pill packaging specifically for the disease. By supplying one circuit in the entire chain, medicines can even be produced and packaged customer-specific, in the right composition, and completely personalized. Due to cutbacks in healthcare and the fact that people are becoming older, RFID technology is an excellent solution for supporting people at home to a ripe old age. By linking a graphene RFID tag with graphene moisture sensor to, for example, diapers, incontinent patients can be temporarily changed by the district nursing service. These tags measure the moisture content of the material, in which way bleeding can also be detected. By linking identification with sensors, external and informal caregivers do not have to worry about the place of residence of their loved ones. Their location can even be read through a regular mobile phone or tablet. A good solution should demented people literally lose their way. It is also possible to intervene remotely when communication goes down. All too often, the elderly forget to take or cannot find their medication, or forget to hang up the handset after a phone call. If this is the case, the informal caregiver can remotely help locate the medicine or restore the connection. The government and the semi-government are by definition major users of materials, appliances and machines, things paid for with public funds. Public transport is one example. Years before a general passenger pass was introduced in the Netherlands, the so-called OV chip, Dutch ANA was already using such a system for NS passengers. Furthermore, the government often has expensive equipment, and so it's important to handle it economically and responsibly. Categorizing and tagging these things prevents theft, but it's also easy to trace who, perhaps unintentionally, has damaged them. The use of RFID tags is virtually unlimited. First used to identify and register cattle, fish and pets, today we use these tags for identification linked with functions. This creates new application possibilities, now, but especially in the future. And that's closer than you think. By analogy with George Orwell's book, ANA does not want to be the company that brings the Big Brother is watching you concept closer. In our view, identification technology has everything to do with a better and safer world. Through identification, we come to know everything we do not know yet, and we become, as Confucius tells us, wise. Be wise too. Contact us to meet the future together.